680's Richard Southern joins us on this very now, finally, sunny Monday, Richard. And you know, with the housing market the way it is, you might think that Toronto homes are worth their weight in gold, but maybe not.
Francis, Toronto homes are a steal if you're paying for them in gold. The Bank of Montreal crunching the numbers on this fund perspective on the housing market, and it turns out that when expressed in gold terms, housing prices in Toronto are far from record highs. The average Toronto home costs 540 ounces of gold, well below the record of 655 ounces, which was back in 2005. The current price for the yellow metal, just above $1,700 Canadian. That's close to a record high in Canadian terms, yet Bank of Montreal points out that no one is calling the gold market in a bubble. You know, the Toronto housing market is continuing to show signs of cooling off. The latest sign, Francis, coming courtesy of some of the big Canadian banks. They reported earnings late last week. All four of them, Royal Bank, TD, CIBC, they said their mortgage loan growth had slowed in the past few months. So I think we're starting to see the signs of the housing market starting to turn here in Toronto.
But Richard, according to your next story, the real gold mine might now be in a place few would expect: grease traps.
Yeah, you know, we see that deep fryer oil bubbling, Francis, and we think, oh boy, our French fries are nearly ready. But you know, this is the sound of profit now to many. Yellow grease prices have jumped 230% since the year 2000. Old vegetable oil that's been used to cook your French fries and your chicken nuggets, it sounds a bit gross, but the market for it is booming because it's being used now as a fuel. Oil companies are mandated to use billions of dollars worth of biodiesel, which is made using the old deep fryer oil. In the U.S. last year, 1.4 billion pounds of old fryer oil was turned into biodiesel. Francis, the market is so hot for this now that we're starting to see a lot of theft. Experts say every time the price of diesel goes up, so too does the price of biodiesel, and you see thieves trying to make a greasy few bucks on the side by stealing it.
Greasy, love it. So British Airways is slowly getting back to normal. You were the one to report on this weekend computer error that really inconvenienced so many passengers here in the city.
Yeah, I was watching it on Saturday because, you know, a very big problem with British Airways shutting down all their operations out of their Heathrow hub. A computer problem had forced them to ground all their aircraft, and that affected the flights in and out of Toronto. Many travelers still affected here 3 days later. The good news, though, is that British Airways is operating all its long-haul services out of Heathrow. The two flights from Heathrow to Toronto did land at Pearson today, and scheduled return flights departing at 6:35 and 10 o'clock are listed as on schedule. This issue, though, Francis, according to Citigroup, will cost the airline at least $110 million US dollars. British Airways says it wasn't the result of a hack, more it was a result, they say, rather of a power outage. So there you go.
Well, more bad news for travelers who like a tipple, especially those travelers who actually know what a tipple is. So it's a drink.
A drink.
And the mini bar is on its way out as hotels renovate now for younger customers.
Say it ain't so. You know the drill, Francis. 2 a.m., back in the hotel. You know, the corner stores are closed. Maybe you don't want to wander around a foreign city. And there it is, beckoning from the corner of the room.
The $25 Toblerone bar.
Yeah, you know, it sounds ridiculous, but then you're like, okay, maybe just this once. Oh, the $30 airplane bottle of Jack Daniels? Yes. No way. Okay, maybe just one sip. You know, we've all fallen prey to the mini bar, but it is on its way out. Despite big markups, most hotels say they operate their mini bars at a loss. Their fridges take up space. They take up energy. And the overstocking leads to a lot of spoilage. Guests as well routinely steal from the mini bars. So major hotel chains like Hyatt and Hilton, they are getting rid of the mini bars. They're renovating the rooms for millennials who would rather go out to a local cocktail bar. Also leaving the hotel rooms now, Francis, closets and dresser drawers, because studies show millennials rarely unpack when they get to the hotel. I'm lamenting the loss of the mini bar myself, even though it's expensive.
Yeah, and I don't believe that they're operating at a loss. With those
prices, it's hard to believe. But again, a lot of people just look at it and then it spoils and it costs the hotel money. So who knows?
Okay, maybe it'll be a sell-off. We'll see.
We'll buy the old airplane bottles, right? Why not?
So Disney opened its Avatar World this past weekend, and Wall Street analysts actually expect this new attraction to make boatloads of money.
Yeah, they think it's going to be a hit. So it is Avatar. Remember, the movie came out 8 years ago, and now Pandora, the world of Avatar, has officially opened at Disney's Animal Kingdom in Florida. There's floating mountains, which fans will recognize from the film. The centerpiece is a 3D reality ride, and the attraction cost Disney $500 million to build. build, but Credit Suisse says that's money well spent. It thinks this is going to drive attendance. Disney also building Star Wars theme parks, and Credit Suisse says that $2.7 billion could be the annual revenue for Disney theme parks over the next few years, with Avatar and with Star Wars bringing in all sorts of people, Francis.
Very neat. Okay, thank you, Richard.
Thanks.